Hi, we're here at Identity Week America. We're coming to the close of day 2 now. I'm joined by Denny Prvu, who's the Director of Architecture, Innovation and Technology for RBC Royal Bank. It's great to speak to you.
Thank you for having me.
How have your sessions been today?
Oh, they've been fantastic. Interactions and mixing with everybody that's a like-minded person have been great.
And I wanted to ask you about the banking sector, how it's evolving. It's not just comprised of traditional banks anymore, is it? You've got these challenger banks, services like Monzo, PayPal, Revolut. What's the difference between those traditional banks and the new emerging services in terms of their fraud response in the moment and long term?
So the emerging banks and these challengers are now adopting the way people want to work. They want to be mobile, they want to be quick response. Legacy banks, kind of like us and the bigger players, are brick and mortar. They want to see you in person. So they have a lot more fraud things to deal with that we don't necessarily have. I know who EV is by seeing you. They look at a driver's license or a passport. So they have some new challenges that we don't have.
How is onboarding becoming more sophisticated across all banks, using strong user data, identifiers, digital identity?
Globally, there's a requirement for KYC, to know your customer. So onboarding requires you to capture attributes about our customers. Before it was things like first name, last name, address, mother's maiden name. Now it's things like your retina color, your eye color, your gait, how you walk, your movements. Those are all now attributes that we have to learn how to track and how to identify. So it's become considerably more difficult.
And what does vetting and credentialing involve for employees, not just end users? You mentioned some of the kind of behavioral analytics that we're looking at.
Yeah, before it was nice that someone would see Denny coming into work, I would tap my badge and my photo of my badge would be the same as Denny. Now, with people working remote and hybrid, I have to validate that it really is Denny on the other end of the computer and it's not an AI-generated Denny. I may need biometrics, I might need a voice authentication. So there's a lot more we have to do even with employees. And it's not just us, it's banking as a whole.
And you mentioned that what some of the identity-based verification methods are you deploying across all banks in the sector to authorize transactions?
So it's great. Each line of business, so when you look at Canadian banking, we're broken up into separate lines of business. There's consumer, there's personal, there's insurance as a line of business. Each one of them has methods of authentication based on transaction type, how much you're spending, what you're doing. Some are based on where you're doing it from. Are you performing a transaction from your car and calling in, or are you doing it from a keyboard? We also have to validate the device. Are you on a trusted device at a branch, or are you remote? There's a lot more vetting we have to do of the users.
And you had a session on PAM, Privileged Access Management. How can continuous authentication help with that?
So it was interesting, and it actually came up in this session, so I'm glad you brought it up. PAM traditionally is privileged accounts, so I check in, use an account, check it back out again. Legacy systems would cache that and let you use that same account for 8 hours or a period of time. Now, continuous validation is key so that someone doesn't walk up to your desktop when you're gone for a cup of tea or you've gone for lunch and now they've impersonated you or done something on your behalf. We're strong proponents of continuous validation, continuous authentication, even step up. Maybe you've done something out of pattern. We need to validate it really is Evie doing something that she normally doesn't do. So definitely a requirement.
Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.